Thank you for coming to watch. If you're coming back or if you're new, both are pretty accurate. Actually, both are pretty new since this is only episode 2. I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad I get to talk to you again because it's always fun. It's fun to watch other podcasts and listen to them talk, and hopefully now talk to you and you can watch and listen to me talk. Let's see, on Ravelry, I'm bsarah. I also have a Propanicus moon group on Ravelry. I'll put some stuff in the, down below, and I will have more at the end also, so you can catch those again later. So what do I have to do? I actually wrote it out. I wrote it all out instead of just winging it, and now I can't do anything without looking at my list. So let's see, what's happening around here? Okay, the first thing, dogs. They're not here. I just had my son take them out for a little run. Gets him away and them away, and everybody's happy. I'm sorry if they disturb other people's dogs. I know that Robbie, our blue heeler, he was the vocal one last week. He loves to watch TV, and he watches for things he can bark at and listens for things that he can bark at because that's just the way he is. He, I guess, doesn't get quite enough stimulation. So they're gone. They're going to go play, and they'll come back all happy and worn out, and this will be quiet. I alluded to that. It's sort of winter here again. I don't know. I don't know what the temperature is today, but I know on Saturday the temperature is supposed to be about -5 Fahrenheit, which is, I think I looked it up, somewhere around -20 or 25 Celsius. That's the high temperature for Saturday. It's only for the one day, and then by the following Friday it'll be back up, in the 40s, so well above 0 Fahrenheit or Celsius as well. But it's nice. We like having snow and a little bit of cold. Everybody's wanting to go cross-country skiing, and we haven't had enough snow for that yet. So hopefully this weekend that can happen, because we're supposed to get a little more snow. What else? Just general goings on. There's probably more, but we don't need to figure out what they are now. We'll find something. We can talk about them later if they come up. So I'm going to start with my finished objects, and I still have the folder, the gray folder, that I think worked pretty well as a gray card. I still don't have sock markers, so I'll do that. These are my husband's socks. These are the January socks. I noticed last time I looked down and talked a lot. I'm sorry. The January socks. So I got those done. We'll move on to the February ones in a minute. These are them. And I'm thinking the camera focuses pretty well, so just leave them there for a few seconds. These are Porthos. They're by Caua Coffee, C-A-O-U-A, Coffee, C-O-F-F-E-E. They're wonderful socks. They're a free pattern on Ravelry. They're knit and purl. He's worn them, so they're a little stretched out and hairy because, dog hair is our life. But it's a great pattern. It's very simple. The repeat after you do a few, it's real. You don't need any more directions usually. You can figure out where you're supposed to be. It's the same stitch and patterns and repeat, progression. It's just that they're offset by 6 stitches or something. Maybe it's 8. So those are good. I highly recommend them. He seems to like them. They're the first pair of socks I've knitted for him, so I don't know if he was sure what to expect. He has been moving more toward wool socks lately, even just from the store, so I thought these would be good, and I'm going to make him another pair later. I don't remember. He's had some comment. It's like, oh, well, I could, do something like that later, so we'll do that again, and we'll do that, and you'll like that now. These are my February socks. I lost it. Where's the tag? Oh, there it is. Okay, good. These, well, the February stocks have sort of a long story, a little bit of a backstory to them. So I'll start at the beginning. They started out being these. These are socks that rock, lightweight. I believe the color is called Stephen Phillip. It's grays with browns and purples and blues and maybe a little bit of green in there. It's a very nice yarn. You know, it's very substantial and springy and round. And this was some of the first. Actually, I think it was the first nice yarn I ever got at Rhinebeck. And I do go to Rhinebeck because it's fairly close by, and a friend goes so she can stock up. She does a lot of fiber art, so she buys her materials, her weaving and felting materials there a lot. So we go, and I don't usually buy too much. I'll buy, you know, maybe a roving and a skein or two of yarn, or sometimes we split a fleece. It just depends on the mood that year. And this was one of the first nice yarns I got, brand name we'll call it. Even for an independent, and I started knitting it. This was probably 5 or 6 years ago that I got it, and I got a little longer than this, probably about that long, so maybe 4 to 5 inches total. And then I stopped and I just went on to other things. You know, that happens with some projects. And now, since I'm doing the, you know, pair of socks every month project, I thought that would be a good time to finish these, to use it up and finish them and move on to something else. And so I used them. I'm going to try to alternate yarns I dye with commercial yarns. We'll just call even independent ones commercial at this point because I buy them from someone that way. And I just couldn't do it. This took me almost a week to get this far. And I'm not a fast knitter, but when I just finally decided that it wasn't worth, you know, beating this horse any longer, I started another pair. I got more than this much done the first evening. Really, it wasn't even the first day. So these are going away for a while, for at least 2 months, until at least April would be the next time they come out. When we're doing for March, yeah, March will be something else. And we'll see. I'm gonna, I think, probably try a simpler pattern. This is a very, I mean, it's not a complex pattern at all. I think it's called Stepping Stones by Clara Parks. It's on Ravelry, it's free, and it's also in her socks book. Everything you wanted to know about socks. I don't remember the exact title, but that's close. And it's a simple pattern. It's you knit 3, purl 3, and then knit 1, purl 1, and you just alternate those 2 rows. And I just can't do it. It does not catch my imagination at all right now, at least in this yarn. I like the pattern. I like the yarn. We'll see what can be done with both of them in different combinations later. So that, oh here, I'm going to hold this up just as a reference. So this is what I've switched to. This is a shoulder stall, Fortissima Colari Soccer color. And yeah, I think by the first evening I was down about here on these. And it's a blueberry waffle pattern, so it's also a very simple stitch pattern. You knit 2 rows, and then do a knit 2, purl 2 for 2 rows. Like I said before, I do like having a little texture in my socks. And a little rib is nice too. It just helps them to not get so springy. So I'm doing these. This is here. I don't know. Maybe that will help. Let's see. Oops, there they go. This is the band, ball band. This is the side with the numbers. This is it's 75% wool and 25% nylon, polyamide. Polyamide probably is what it is. The socks at Rock is 100% merino, but it is a 3-ply and they are highly twisted, so it's fairly sturdy for an all-wool sock. These, we'll see, I'll bring them back in 2 weeks and we'll see. I should have this one done and be on the way, well on the way on the second one. So that's socks. What else? Shawls. I am working on some shawls. I haven't quite untangled all that red yarn barf I showed before, the lace weight. I had to cut a bunch out and I'm just winding little balls. I'm trying to keep as much intact as I can, but I really had to cut some out. And then I can finish the red lace shawl. But these two aren't lace. They're garter stitch, and they're both very simple. We go into town. It sounds like we're way up in the middle of nowhere, but to one of the bars, and they have a trivia night every week. So we go play trivia, and these are good for that because I don't have to think too much about them. If something else is going on, I'm not gonna mess up the pattern or anything. This one is one I started years ago. It is, I don't know how to pronounce the name because it's Finnish. And I'll put it on, it'll be down below. It's Ravelry, something like that, by Tina Koo. Her name is Tiinakuu. It's also a free pattern on Ravelry. I had these yarns, the gray and the orange and the blue, left over from my first Stephen West mystery shawl, which I don't have here because I had another way I wanted to show that to you. Anyway, and I loved the yarn. It's one of my yarns. It is called Legend, I believe. I don't get it very often because it's quite expensive. It's Blue Face Leicester silk and cashmere, and it's a fingering weight, and it's just lovely, which is why I wanted to use up every little bit. And I think this shawl, it's going to be more of a scarf, but I think it'll work really well. You start by casting on, I don't know, I started it a couple of years ago, so I'm not quite sure. Looks like, probably a couple hundred stitches, and then you knit back, and then you start knitting. You do that with one color, and then you start knitting the other two colors. And what I'm doing is, the blue just ran out, so now I'm going to be alternating the blue and the gray, or the orange and the gray. And then when I'm done with the orange, because there's much more gray left than orange now, it'll all be gray at the end, and that's how she has it on, her example for her pattern. You end up with a wide strip here of a solid color, pretty much. So that'll be good, and like I said, it's good for taking out when you're going places, and you don't want to have to think too hard about what you're doing, but make some progress and not just sit there. So that's that shawl. And the other shawl, oops, let's put the socks away. The other shawl is my Doodler shawl, the Stephen West mystery shawl for this year. Last year, it's the most recent. And I know so many people have done this, and most people I think are finished with theirs. Well, a lot of people are starting it now too, again. My others, I've used pretty bright colors, and that's what I want to do. I couldn't find the second one. So I want to just have all three together at some point. So hopefully next episode I'll have those all three together so you can see the sort of color choice progressions that I've made. This one, my needle's not long enough, but you can see the colors. I wanted it to be very subdued. And can you see the gray solid? There's just a gray stripe every now and then. It blends in pretty well, but it's also there. You can still see it, so I like it. And then so we have the dark gray is the cable braid kind of thing, and then the final big ruffle flare will be the dark gray. What I did, and I don't know how this will show up on the camera, because in this light it's showing up a little better. The lighter gray I also dyed with purple, so it has a purple cast to it in certain light. And the dark gray I put some turquoise in, so it does have a turquoise cast to it in some light. So I was hoping that would help differentiate the two and just beyond the depth of, of blackness of each. So they stand out pretty well. So that's coming along. And this one, there's the one on this final ruffle bit. You do a bunch of rows, mainly short rows. You get smaller and smaller. And then you have one big long row, and you go, and that's when you get a lot of yarn overs and knit two togethers, and you get it's a feather and fan stitch of some sort, but it's just the one row. So as long as I'm not working on that part, this is also a good one to have out and about. And so I want to get it done. I started out really excited about it, did the braid, completely lost interest, completely, just didn't want to do anymore. And then I just kept seeing them around on Ravelry and online, on Instagram probably. And the more finished ones I saw, the more I decided that it's, I could deal with this process. And I know a lot of people have said how boring this final part is. And I truly lost interest before I even got to that. But, so I did it. I picked up the stitches, started in on this. And I finished the first wedge. There's supposed to be 4. We'll see if I have enough yarn to do all 4. I might just go until I run out of this color, because I won't use it again. I'm going to there's going to be a little bit of this lighter gray with the missing words, with the I-cord bind off. And I think I'm going to do the little funny picot things, but I want to use this color, that color. That I had to add some other colors. I want to use the main color for that, and I hope there's enough of that to do it. So that's that. And that, let's see. No, I do have one more thing in progress. Oh, I have a couple other things to show too. Forgot I didn't write the one down. The sweater I showed last time, it's a little bit farther. I think last week I was to here and now I'm up here. These are the waist decreases, because there's a slight waist shaping in it. And it hasn't gotten a lot of attention lately. But actually, it's a good one to do when I'm out and about too. So as these two get finished, that'll pick up at least, until I get to having to, the sleeves, they won't be too bad. And then the yoke. So it'll be a good one for doing things. And the other thing I was going to show is my sock yarn blanket. It's just a one with scraps. Yes, you can see lots of ends. What I'm trying to do with the ends is keep them all woven in, which I'm behind on, obviously, as long as, when they're one square in. So these should be done, and that. But this is it. it's here, we'll do that. I have a little bit here. I don't know what that green yarn is, but that's about it. I don't do very much on it, but I like it, and I think it'll be nice. It's not going to be a big blanket, I don't think. I have done my directions differently than a lot of people, and they will change again, because I'm going to put squares like this of 4 of one color going in different directions in different places throughout the blanket. So that will be, when I get to that point again, that, you know, things will change again. So right now it's divided into quarters this way. And yeah, I like it. I have a big old bag of yarn, all different things that I've been collecting. And then balls, all sorts of, you know, balls of leftover yarn. Things like that. I'm not being real specific about what goes with each other. I don't have a whole lot of bright colors. I got a couple in a mini swap, I think it was. And then the dog ate the rest. There were 3 or 4 at least, and I got enough for 2, and then he ate them. So we're working on that. He's pretty good. He doesn't chew things up too much anymore. He's old enough. But so that's the mini blanket, or yeah, the sock yarn blanket. And I don't have a lot more right now. I don't have anything else planned. I have enough going. I'm not quite a monogamous knitter. I like to be, but I do like to work on one thing and get it done and then work on another, but I also like having other things for different situations, like the lace ones. What is that? It's a little tuft of down from something. I like to have, where was I going? Like lace, it's easier to do when there's no one around and you can think about it. After a while, you know, you get used to it and it's easier with people around. The garter stitch things are great for doing out and about. So are socks. Socks, so far right now, are fairly simple patterns that I've been doing. So yeah, I've got the 2 shawls, the sweater, and the socks, and then the red shawl at some point. But I should, that orange one, orange and blue and gray one should be done fastest. I should do it and then finish the doodler and then work on the sweater and, you know, have the socks going constantly. We'll see. I'm not always good. I do like to cast on as much as anyone. So sometimes I get all excited and just do that. What else? Otherwise, I'm dyeing a lot. Well, I need to be dyeing. I'm getting things ready to dye for the artisan market in Rochester on the 27th, I believe. Saturday. It's a Saturday. It's at the Century Club in Rochester, New York. It's put on by Tina Turner's Knitting Circle. And no, it's not Tina Turner the musician. It's Tina Turner, the local knitting celebrity. She always gathers a wonderful group of people with yarn. Let's see, I'll be there. I think Periwinkle Sheep will be there, and Yarn Culture, and a few people who have farms and do fleeces and spin their own wools, and my friend Pat, who has Firefly Farms, and she does soaps, and Pygora Roving. She has Pygora goats. And what else? Who else is there? I didn't look around too much last year. This is the second one that's been held, so it's fun. It's in a nice old building with lots of windows, and it's fun. It's nice. A lot of people come to that, so if you're anywhere in the area, that's something to do. I'll try to get the details up somewhere. Probably I can put them in Ravelry in the what I'm doing thread. What do I call that thread? Something like what I'm doing. Events, maybe. I have it very minimalized. I think it's events. There's news and events. So I think that's events. And then the first weekend in March, maybe the 7th. I think it is. Is it the very next week? No, 2 weeks after, is the Fiber Flurry, which is in Wyoming, New York, in another nice old building. It's the Wyoming Inn, and there'll be more yarn, and there'll be Pat with her soap, and I'll be there with yarn and teaching. And I think I mentioned before, I'm going to be doing a simple brioche, 2-color brioche hat. So that'll be fun. And I'll show you the hat as soon as I get working on it. I have it all figured out in my head, and I just have to do it. But at this point, I don't want to cast on something new, so I'm not. But I will. And I think that's all that's coming up. Then I've had a hard time getting a hold of the people with the Buffalo Knitters Guild. And I would like to do that and get into their spring sale, which is, I believe, in April, which will be fun. I know I like the one at the Rochester Knitting Guild, so the Buffalo one should be fun too. And when I figure that out and find out if they'll accept me, I'll let you know when and where that is. It's at one of the temples in Buffalo. I believe it's on Sheridan Drive. Not Sheraton like the hotel, Sheridan. And then that's all I can see for right now for the main future. Things hopefully will come up, and there's some other stuff going on around here that I don't know enough about yet. I don't know what's going to be happening yet, so I won't say anything about that until it's more secure. But it could be very exciting and fun and all that. So thank you. Thank you for coming back and watching and sitting through if you stayed this long. Again, I'm Sarah, and that's bsarah on Ravelry. I have a Propanicus Moon, or Friends of Propanicus Moon is the exact title of the group on Ravelry. On Instagram, it's Propanicus_moon, and none of those are capital. I don't think Instagram will let you capitalize names. And the website is propanicusmoon.com, and show notes will be there, and I think I put them on the Ravelry page, the page that this link is on, the thread. And what else? Names, who, what, when, where, why, how. Yeah, I think that's all. So thank you again for watching. I know, I just say that all the time. And I will see you next time. Next time I am gonna try to start recording on Tuesday and hopefully upload it Tuesday night. And so it'll be there either Tuesday night or Wednesday day. So I don't, Tuesday's a better day for me to do this. So I just have to get organized enough to do it. And we'll see how that works out, because, it's not my strong suit. Although I do pretty good. So thank you again, and I'll see you next time. Bye.